Welcome, DJ Heavygrinder and Neko. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Thanks so much. Welcome to INDIEPOWER TV. We know you are a global citizen. I hear you were born in Seattle and did some growing up in Japan?
Yes.
Please tell us about growing up and how you fell in love with music.
I was always in love with music since I was a little girl. I kind of wanted to be a singer, but that took a turn into DJing and production, and I do some singing over my tracks as well. But about Japan, I lived in Japan for a long time. I took acting classes, modeling, took a little vocal training, and so I was always kind of in the entertainment, or into the entertainment business. And
So it caught you early on, you felt like creating and your parents encouraged that?
Not really, it was just on my own.
Okay.
Definitely.
Fell in love with the idea
Yes. And I
performing?
and I fell in love with turntables when I was 17, and I started DJing actively. And one of the first few records I bought was Robert Miles' Children.
Yeah.
And yes.
Fantastic. So now how did that evolve to creating your own music? Did you start to experiment and
Yes, I started
come up
to
with your own sounds?
experiment in 2006, and I uploaded my first remix kind of thing, of a garbage remix onto MySpace in 2006, and yes, it went from there.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I know some of the other influences and artists you liked at the time, Prodigy and Daft Punk and Jamiroquai.
Oh, Jamiroquai was especially someone I'm very inspired by, as I am very shy as well, and I heard that he wore the hat because he was shy too, so yes, I kind
Amazing.
of, yes.
So how do you deal with that in going out and performing, in front of a lot of people? Is there somewhat of an anonymity because you're kind of separated between the audience and your music? How do you deal with your shyness when you're performing?
How do I deal with it? I actually have a alter ego a little bit, like when I'm speaking with you right now. I'm a
Yes.
little bit soft spoken, but I actually have an alter ego, and I have Neko here to also perform
Awesome.
with me now, so it's well, I have the alter ego, so it also helps.
Yeah. Neko, tell us about how your influence and involvement with the music has taken the new shape here.
Well, I started making music when I was 11 years old. I was inspired by my brother. He had a band, in the garage, like with all his friends, and I was 6 years old. I saw a drum kit for the first time, and that was my first contact with music. And I was introduced to all the greats like Metallica, Nirvana, Tool. I was that 6-year-old kid that was listening to Undertow, so eventually I got my first computer when I was 11 years old, and immediately I thought about using it to create stuff. So I got
Nice.
Cakewalk back in the day, and I started fiddling with it, and one thing led to another, and many years later I'm still here, and now we're working together.
Fantastic. And tell us about the creation of the name Heavygrinder, what that means.
That comes from, I was a huge, back in high school, I was a huge Cannibal Corpse fan, so Corpse Grinder, I took the name Corpse Grinder's Grinder, and it's heavy death metal, so I took the heavy and Corpse Grinder's last name and came up with Heavygrinder.
Wow. And have you ever met Cannibal Corpse?
I have gone to their shows a couple of times. I've met Alex Webster, but I haven't met the whole cast.
Okay. And you told him that your name was derived? They don't know.
I don't think so.
Wow. Yeah. I think the Corpse Grinder would be honored. That's amazing stuff. Now, tell us about how you see the evolution of electronic music, because like we just talked about, some of these artists, Daft Punk and The Prodigy, they've been around for years, but you know, EDM has taken so many shapes, so much evolution. You know, what do you think about the involvement of electronic music, and what are you most excited about today?
I'm very excited that EDM is more familiar to a bigger capacity of people now, and also, well, what would you say?
EDM just has taken so many shapes and kind of infected every genre of music, and I think it reaches more demographics, which she already said. And our thing, for instance, of mixing metal with EDM makes it so a sort of not so easy to digest genre such as metal, because these kids have not been brought up with it, or even rock for the most part.
Yeah.
But they get to experience it, and then they'll probably go and search for the original, and then they're like, oh, I didn't know this existed, because they've been listening to 128, Sidechain, just bumping tracks all their lives. It's not really their fault, it's just a sign of the times. But I think it's the EDM is like, part of it is very formulaic, and it's always the same, but it's also expanding and becoming more it's attaining all these characteristics from different genres and becoming more eclectic. So part of it is becoming bad, part of it is becoming good, and we like to think we're on the good side of it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I think it's always good to mix it up,
Exactly.
You don't want to be a follower, you want to be a trendsetter. And I always say there's only two kinds of music that moves you and music that doesn't.
Yeah.
So if there's some heavy music you love, there's some electronic music you love, you might experiment and see. I know, frankly, to me, when you go see The Prodigy live, is very heavy, and they definitely mix, like live guitars and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a metal band, but definitely, edgy stuff. That's very, very exciting. Now, tell me about you performing live and some of the places that it's taken you. Where all have you performed?
I've played all over Asia. I actually played in Ibiza in Europe, which was really exciting. Probably one of the most exciting gigs for me, because it was a dream place to play. And my favorite place I played at would be a sumo wrestling place in Japan called Kokugikan, and it was interesting.
It's like one of the biggest venues in Japan.
Wow. And that was a straight music event, or did they mix other events with that?
They had down tempo playing at the same time by DJ Crush at that time. So it was interesting because they had different genres there.
Sure. Now, I know you were born in Seattle. Do you get up there since?
I have played there.
Performed in Seattle?
Since.
Yeah, it's a great area in the Northwest. And what are some of your most favorite places to play now?
I love playing anywhere I get to play at. I just love playing in general.
Yeah.
We love playing, so I couldn't say, because each place that we play is so special to us. So
Different in a way.
it's different and special. And
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, how about where you would like to play that you haven't performed? Is there a wish list, places that you would like to go?
Definitely. We want to play in the UK. We have one of our biggest fan bases actually in the UK and Australia, and we want to play in both places. So we're just hoping to get out there soon.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think that would be a great place for you. Now, with the development of Metal for Hire,
Yes.
tell us about how you're able to collaborate with others on their projects. What all are you available to do?
We're available to do Well, production, remixing, mastering, and yes,
Basically all
all
the
of
steps.
Okay.
You know, like if someone has an idea for a song and they, you know, need a push, or if they have like a song that's been recorded and they need it to be mixed or perhaps just mastered, or maybe they want to remix like to complete an EP or a promo package, you know, we're available and we'll consider, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
What's exciting these days to see kind of the evolution, you know, of so many things. Obviously, the business is changing in ways, and we hope that's good for entertainers and creative people. And of course, there's more people making music. It's easier to produce it, easier to upload it to iTunes or the digital stores, and easier than ever to make a video and get it posted on YouTube. How about videos? Talk about the process of making videos. You know, what you're most excited about in that, and you know, what abilities do you feel confident in your being able to do?
Videos.
Well, we kind of have been doing small little video blogs for the
Okay.
page, but we are in the process of upscaling it, so to speak, like better quality. We have the gear. We
Yeah.
are getting our little video studio ready so we can make more frequent video blogs, and quite possibly also some promotional video productions
Yeah.
for ourselves, because we kind of like to do whatever we can do in house.
Mm-hmm.
We like to do it because it's a way for us to get our vision directly out there, because you know there's not so many gatekeepers anymore, so if we can do
Yeah.
it ourselves, you know, we'll go as far as we can, and then if we need some help, we'll reach out and try to ask either someone from our fans or hit up someone we look up to. But yeah, we're definitely going to be posting more video content very soon on the page, so keep an eye out.
Great. And talk about that evolvement, because it used to be where the artists were kind of separated from the audience, and now there's more interaction, there's more potential collaboration. You know, you go to the Warped Tour, a lot of these tours, there's a lot of meet and greets, there's a very much a blurred line, you know, between the artists and their audience. It's more of a unity, you know. Talk about, you know, what excites you the most about that, where you can deal directly with your audience without all the gatekeepers and companies you have to go through, and how some of their feedback or ideas for collaboration might spur some more creative ideas for you.
Well, people have been, at least from the shows that I've been to since I'm a recent addition to the project.
Yes.
Everybody has been like really nice. We haven't been approached regarding a collaboration, maybe because you know it just hasn't happened. It's more like fans that want to just meet and greet, but it's always extremely positive. Sorry. They always have something nice to say, and they want to take pictures, and they tweet it like 5 minutes later, and it's always nice to see that, you know, we made someone's day and they enjoyed it. You know, it just keeps us going. As for collaborations, we have our circle of connections, you know, other artists that we've worked with throughout the years, and there's some stuff in the making, and you know, maybe through Metal for Hire, new connections will definitely forge, or you know, maybe one day we'll get to meet that one fan that, you know, really wants to do something and he's badass and we do it. So, you know,
exactly,
it's all out in the open.
Yeah. Now, talk about, like I say, you love some of the heavy music, the Cannibal Corpse and all that. Talk about, are there any other forms of music you might be interested in mixing into yours? Any ideas of evolution?
Yes, I'm thinking of having like EDM, but mixing industrial, like breakdowns and more metal vocalists perhaps for projects, and maybe
Also
some
the Japanese
rock
side
and
of things.
Japanese, of course. We want to
A lot of
incorporate
Japanese rock. We have some stuff in the making, very tailored to the Japanese market, with Japanese vocals by her.
Sure,
So
sure.
that, it's definitely that's yet another way of bringing that kind of music, kind of like the visual K, J-rock movement, to people in America that are not used to it.
Yes.
Except for maybe anime fans, but outside that circle, people have never been exposed to it. So it's like showing them something new and hopefully something that they will enjoy.
Yeah. Well, knowing both cultures so well, America and Japan, what would the Americans be most surprised at if they go visit Japan? What is the biggest difference that they would incur?
Maybe the food.
Definitely the food.
The food, yes, and it's pretty crowded on the trains and
A lot of hustle bustle,
yes.
Tokyo, and
Yeah.
amazing. Now, have you performed in any of the other Asian countries?
Oh yes, I've performed in Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, China.
South Korea?
Oh, South Korea.
Wow, amazing.
And Philippines.
Now, what was the biggest difference when you went to China? What was the shock?
I actually loved it there so much, and I thought Shanghai was extremely beautiful, and it's different from Japan in the sense that it's just a different culture. Food is a little different, but yes, it was one of my favorite places I got to play aside from Japan where I lived all my life, but yes, I love China.
Fantastic. Now, with it being so easy for people to create music these days, there's no filters. Anybody can put anything out there, which kind of, in a way, clutters the landscape, some say. What advice do you give to young creative people to help them develop really their own style or their own voice, or what encouragement do you give them, on maybe ideas they should concentrate on?
Perhaps it's good to, it's good to stay kind of original, but that's just my opinion, and that's really entirely
Be as unique
my
as
opinion.
possible?
Be as unique as, maybe not as possible, but like somewhat unique in the sounds you pick, and also watch tutorials and just hone your skills and put some awesome stuff.
I think they should worry less about charting and playing at EDC and Ultra Festival and all that stuff. They should worry less about the social side of it and being the DJ or the big shot producer in the group, and more about actually making music and saying something through it. Because if they do that enough, people are going to start noticing, and then all of that feedback, positive consequences will eventually come to you. But people are too concerned about how many likes they get on stuff on Facebook. They're too concerned about having their name in a big festival, and then it's just like buried and no one sees them, and their career doesn't progress, and it's just for bragging rights. And no one will remember them in 5 years, even if they have a #1 hit. There's plenty of people that have had #1 hits and sold millions even 2-3 years ago that I can't remember. But we remember the Prodigy.
Yeah.
We spoke about it many times, and I think they should worry about making music for the sake of making music, because it's an art form. When you start producing it just to achieve a goal, then you're never really going to go anywhere in the long run. So, and tutorials, watch a lot of tutorials, hone your skills as much as possible.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of established artists, and they paid dues for many years. They honed their craft. They were a master of their craft and a student of the game. And I worry sometimes that the younger people that grew up with all the internet and computers, we came up before that, they want everything instant. They just want to click. They don't want to
Exactly.
dig in and dedicate years that it takes to perform or master your songwriting or your hone your sound.
Exactly.
What advice do you give to the young to have a sense of dedication of the long term rather than the short term?
To the young.
Yeah, young people coming up, they're just on the computer. They just want everything like that. They
Right.
don't want to pay their dues.
Well, I guess I'm from another generation, so it's kind of hard for me to, understand that very much because I really had to try and get turned down left and right. But anyways, my advice would be to just really try to make something that for the sake of making other people happy and most of all yourself happy.
And don't use sample packs. Sample packs are bad. Construction kits are bad. No vengeance. So.
Well, I think as long as